Hi, everybody, and thank you so much for joining this Movella and Manus webinar today. I'm very excited. I saw a lot of people all around the globe today, so that's really nice. My name is Xsens Metagloves. I'm a product specialist for Movella. I'm here today joined as a co-host is Rens. He's from Manus, and he is a digital marketing specialist. So let's talk about what we're going to do today. First, we're going to show, of course, the Xsens Metagloves by Manus. And we'll show you how to set up and calibrate the glove. We'll also show you how to set it up in MVN. And well, we should also show you a little how to stream that in Unreal. After that, Gabriella will have a little bit of a showcase for you guys. And afterwards, if you have any questions, even during the session, please make sure to put them in the chat. So afterwards, we can answer all the questions for you.
Yes. So today we will show you how easy it is to add your hands and fingers to your full body Xsens setup. The Xsens Metagloves by Manus use our quantum tracking technology to accurately capture your fingertips, and it also calculates your hand skeleton by performing a small and easy calibration, which we will show you right now. So here you can see Manus Core. You can see both of your hands in the hand viewer. In the Users tab, you can choose to calibrate both of your gloves. You can also go to the Devices tab to calibrate just a single glove. We will be calibrating just the right glove because we just performed a calibration on both anyway, so we're just going to do the right one. The first step is to place your hand horizontally on a flat surface. It should be non-metal. This step will take about 5 seconds. So during this calibration process, the Metagloves and the software will calibrate your hand skeleton based on your fingers, the length of your fingers, and also the maximum and minimum positions of your finger joints. So as you can see, the data is already accurate because we performed the calibration a few minutes ago before this webinar started, when it did work. So with these Metagloves, we capture the fingertips, which enables you to make perfect pinches. You can accurately express all of your emotions through your hands, through all your gestures. You can also see the joint angle data in our data viewer, if you want to see all the graphs with the raw data. So when you're all set up and calibrated in Manus Core, you can add the Metagloves and your fingers and hand data to your full body Xsens setup.
So let's demonstrate how that works.
Yes.
So for that, we're going to demonstrate it in MVN, our software. I'm now wearing the full Link suit, but of course you can also do this with the Winda suit, our wireless solution. So for this, what you need to do is either if you're already in a live session or you start a new one, go to the file and then start or edit the live configuration. Here you want to edit your profile. So for this actor, that's me, go to the Fingers tab, and all you need to do is enable the Manus gloves. Then automatically the ID will pop up, and you see on the right in the avatar, fingers and the gloves appearing, and as you can see, they're already green. So we are actually already good to go. From the MVN side, all you need to do is press OK. And normally you would need to do a little end post calibration, but in this case, we already did it. Typically, this takes about 1 minute to do the calibration. But as you can see, it's this easy to have full body, all doing it live. So whatever you want. And with this data, for example, you can either record this and then you can export it and use it in your third-party software, or what you can do is you can live stream it. So let us show what you can do if you live stream it. So let's go back to the virtual room, and I have my little virtual me next to me. So if I just have a ball, I can nicely interact with the ball. You can see all the nice pinching. And this, I think, really improves your, well, emotes to have a full body setup with fingers. It really adds to the expression and emotion of the animation. So hopefully you like what you see. And of course, we now are showing it on one avatar, but you can imagine you can do it on any avatar. And with that said, I would like to remind you that if at this point you already have any questions, feel free to add them in the question section so we can answer them later. So we'll be answering them after the video, because now it's time for, well, we have a great use case. This is a video created by Gabriella. You might also know her as Feeding Wolves. She makes educational and creative content around metahumans and motion capture in Unreal Engine. And we're now going to show a little video she created where she shares her experience with the new Metagloves. Have a look.
Hi, I'm Gabriella and I go by Feeding Wolves. I am a virtual production artist that makes creative and educational content with an emphasis on metahumans and motion capture in Unreal Engine. I began my journey with Unreal a little over 2.5 years ago, entering this world without any experience in motion capture or 3D applications. I learned Unreal in a short period of time thanks to Jonathan Winbush and his incredible Unreal educational content. Shortly after taking his Unreal Engine course on mograph.com, I got my first taste of motion capture with the Manus Prime 2 gloves and the Xsens Link suit. With the release of metahumans, which are high-fidelity characters that are fully rigged, in order to take advantage of the high-end facial rig they come with, I integrated the Mark IV HMC by Faceware into my workflow. Since my motion capture tools already have an integration with Unreal and metahumans, I'm able to bring my performances into Unreal easily, freeing up my time to focus on creating. And it is during the creative process that I learn new techniques that can improve my workflow, which I love sharing with the community. More recently, I had the pleasure of using the new Xsens Metagloves by Manus, which use a biomechanical model that takes into account the fingertip positioning in order to give you high-fidelity finger tracking. I use these metagloves for a cinematic sequence I recently created in Unreal Engine 5.1. Since these metagloves already share an integration with the Xsens software, which also shares an integration with the Mark IV HMC by Faceware, I was able to combine my workflow for capturing finger, body, and facial performances easily. I love creating side-by-side videos, as this is a great opportunity to test the accuracy of the data by comparing my metahuman performance with my real performance. I brought my data into Unreal using the MVN Puppet and used the IK retargeter in 5.1 to transfer my performance from the MVN Puppet onto my metahuman. The quality of the final performance depends not only on good finger tracking data, but also how it is applied during retargeting and the fine-tuning process with the metahuman control rig. In Sequencer, using the curve editor, we can see the curves for the fingers are smooth and represent a well-defined range of motion. Using an additive layer, I fine-tuned the yaw, which controls the bend of the finger, and the pitch, which controls the spread. I also made offsets to the metacarpals in order to bring the knuckles closer together and reduce the spacing in that area. And it was during this process I discovered that by leaving the finger bones set to skeleton in the retargeting options, but changing the corrective bones to animation, this maintained the volume in the fingers, giving them a more natural appearance. The final step in my process was to slow down the side-by-side performances so that I could compare my finger and body positioning with the reference footage. This was a great way for me to see if my retargeting and fine-tuning was on point and matched the camera positioning. The majority of what I've learned about motion capture is thanks to the incredible help and support I've received from the motion capture companies whose tools I use. Not only have they shown me how to correctly use their hardware and software, but they continue to improve their tools' integration with Unreal and MetaHumans. As a virtual production artist, this is extremely important for me. Animating digital humans is a lot of work, but with these tools, I am able to reach my end goal faster and with accuracy.
I hope you enjoyed that video made by Gabriella, also known as Feeding Wolves. Now in this webinar, we showed you how easy it is to add your hands and fingers to your Xsens full body setup. And it's time to answer some of your questions, which we received in our chat. We got a question, let's see. How to stream raw data for only Manus gloves? This is possible if you have the Xsens Pro Metagloves. This enables you to have access to the Manus Unreal, Unity, and in the near future also Motion Builder plugins. Should I do the second question as well?
Yeah, just.
And we got a question if there is a way to increase the wireless range of the Quantum Metagloves. Actually, last week we launched our new Manus Core 2.1 update, which comes with a big wireless range improvement. So the range is now improved after this update. You can download it in our resource center on the Manus website. There's also knowledge articles available already about Manus Core 2.1. So in case you have any questions, you can look at the Manus resource center and the database. And if you still have any questions, you can reach out to our support team.
Maybe it's also good to mention that you can also extend the range of the dongle with an extension cable. So for example, an active Ethernet cable or something like that, you can extend the range quite far.
Yeah.
So you have the dongle closer by the action.
Yes, and you can also hang the dongle, for example, in the middle of your studio. So you will have the range on both sides, on like all sides of the dongle, to also like kind of double the range. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, I can even use the glove for swiping, so that's nice.
Touch screens.
Let me just. I see somebody trying to see a cross finger demo. So what happens if we cross fingers? So I think, well, we can show that in MVN. So just crossing my fingers now. Yeah, of course, you cannot see myself crossing fingers now. But this is when I have my index and my middle finger overlapping. So I think this works quite nicely. So the display, so this is when I have all my fingers next to each other. But when I splay, you can see that there's also nice splay detection.
Let's see. There's also people from our teams in the chat who will be able to answer some of your questions. Let's see.
Right. Yeah, I think one of the questions was more of a body touch or hand touch. So again, we can quickly go to MVN showing how this works. So for example, this is when I touch my hand or when I punch rents.
Maybe this one.
That's a good question. So some viewers asked if the HD reprocessing also affects the Manus gloves. So that's separate. So at this moment we don't solve. MVN does not solve finger data. So what comes in also goes out. Yeah. I'm seeing from our audience internally that we need to do some interaction with some objects. I guess it's a ball or a prop. So can we?
Yes. So we also have another question. Mike is asking, what is the maximum range, and is it 1 dongle per pair of gloves? So yes, it's 1 dongle per pair of gloves, and the range is up to 15 meters of the Quantum Metagloves and the Xsens Metagloves. So if you hang the dongle in the middle of the studio, for example, like I mentioned before, you can extend it even more because it's in the middle, so it's up to 15 meters on all sides.
I see some nice emotes of thumbs. Yeah. I can do the thumbs as well. Thank you for all the great support.
Can you demo rolling your thumb?
What is rolling your thumb? What do you do then?
I think it's with the inside your hand. Like, maybe we can show this closer.
Can we show either the? Yeah, that would be nice. And I think we can also show this later on side by side with me next to this image. But this is so I'm now trying to get all the angles. And I have to note this is I'm doing it with my right hand at the moment. So on the right side of the. All right.
Let's see if there's any new questions, maybe in the chat as well. Tips for getting a good calibration.
Yeah, it's a question, but it's good to maybe we can give tips for both, I guess.
Yes.
So maybe you can.
So for the Metagloves, to get a good calibration, so there's 3 steps in the Manus calibration. It will take about 35 to 40 seconds, the per hand calibration. The first step is to place your hand flat on a non-metal surface. This will usually take about 5 seconds. And it's fairly simple, it's really straightforward. Second step is to make a fist and to hold your thumb on the side of your hand. This will also take about 5 seconds, and it's important to fully close your hand, so all your joints should be like in your hand to make a fist. You should use all of your joints. The third step, the last one, is to open and close your hand fully. So for this one, you fully extend your fingers all the way. It doesn't matter how you hold your thumb in this one, it does not get calibrated in this one, in this step. And then fully close it while not subtracting the last joint of your fingers. So keep them straight on the bottom. And this step will take about 15 to 20 seconds usually. And that's the last step. And after the step, your whole hand skeleton is calculated by Manus Core. So it matches your actual hand, your physical hand, to give you perfect pinching and all the accurate fingertip locations.
Maybe it's also good to, not say about, say something about...
There's also a quick question.
Oh, yeah,
is this compatible with Awinda?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, so both our systems, the Awinda and Link, are compatible with the gloves. So you can get full emotions with both systems, yeah. Maybe I think this is also a good question with.
Yes, the one someone's asking, for the MVN system, it needs your metrics like height. Do the gloves work automatically for all hand sizes, or do you need to fill in size information? So If I'm correct, because of the calibrations in Manus Core, it will automatically transfer that information to MVN as well. So you don't have to manually fill it in.
Yeah.
Okay, that's more.
I think provide Unreal. That's more of a
long question.
Long question. I think this is the battery. I think
yes.
we can.
How long does the battery last? The Quantum Metaglove batteries last about 3 hours, and you can switch the batteries during your sessions, so you don't need to recalibrate. You can just take out the battery and put a new one in, and keep going.
Yeah.
Let's scroll a little bit up. Maybe for the next webinar, a sword fight would have been nice.
A sword fight, yes. Well, I do have a surprise sword here. So, of course, I don't have the prop set up. So in MVN, you can also add props. If it's attached to my right hand as I'm holding it now, you can add, well, the sword in, we can track the sword as well. But as you can see, the dynamics in MVN look quite nice with the fingers. So don't want to hurt anybody, so I'm now going to put it away.
Someone also commented, now play guitar. We actually have a video with the Metagloves showing one of our colleagues playing a guitar. Maybe we can post this on our socials this week or next week.
Maybe it's also good to remind everybody that if you don't have your question answered in this chat, and you're still wanting to have your answer question, you can also, if it's a technical question, for example, be sure to post it to, for example, support@movella.com, and there we can answer any technical questions. Yes. If it's, for example, sales related, then you can add it to sales@movella.com, which also brings me to something else. I think there's something really nice that we are going to, create bundles. So we have the Metagloves with another system packaged together for a discounted price. If you want to have more information on that, visit our website or ask more information on sales@movella.com.
I also saw another comment asking if the gloves are washable. The textiles of the Metagloves are washable and replaceable. So yes, they are. I see some more in-depth questions.
Yeah, I think if it's very specific on, not related to the gloves, we can park it. But if you have a question which is not related to gloves specifically or this combination, then please feel free to add it to support@movella.com or at Manus support, so we can answer those questions directly there. So, but still, thank you for all the questions.
Yes, there's also a question about from presentation. I checked only Metagloves and a head sensor. Is that enough to have a full body mocap, or do you wear more sensors?
That's a good question. Yeah, of course, I did not fully explain. I was telling that I was wearing the Link suit, but in this suit, it's a Lycra. There are 17 body sensors all over this suit. So if I open up the zipper, you can also already see the wrist sensor, and I have 17 of these all over my body. So yeah, this is the one that's visible, but I have them everywhere. And you can also wear something on top. So for example, I'm now wearing these shorts, but you can just wear clothing on top of it. So it's not obstructed by any outside information, because everything is tracked inside the suit. Thanks.
So the max distance, the range of the Metagloves is up to 15. to answer your question.
I do see, is there a maximum number, but I don't, maximum number of what is it?
Maybe it's connected to a different question. I think the question is if is there a maximum number of gloves connected at the same time? I think.
Oh, right.
So we actually are able to do 6 gloves at the same time. We tried this in our office quite recently. I don't have exact details on what is possible, but I know from experience that it's 6. We had 6.
Yeah, and of course, every character in MVN, so in Pro that's up to 4, can have then gloves attached to them. So,
okay. Yes.
Yep.
I see that there's also some questions being answered already by our colleagues in the chat. Maybe it's also possible to add links to the chat in the answers to maybe the resource center, for example, or the knowledge center.
Yeah, that's good. Because, for example, for Xsens or Movella, if we have any support, also try our base.xsens.com or base@movella.com, where you can find a lot of information, a lot of articles explaining how to set up, how to, for example, stream to Unreal, how everything works. A lot of pipelines are explained. And of course, at the bottom there, you can also find a contact button where you can contact support.
Yes. In my answer to your question, Mike, I meant 6 pairs of gloves, not 6 gloves. So it's more than 3 pairs of gloves in total. Also, as mentioned by Theophilus in the chat. Let's see. It keeps popping up the chat.
I think we have.
Yes, so to answer your question, Dale, is there any difference between the Xsens branded gloves and the Manus branded ones? The Xsens Metagloves, they come with the adapters for the sensors, and they also have the integration with Xsens MVN, with the Xsens software. And the Quantum Metagloves, they do not come with the Xsens integration. So there's a question, are there any do's and don'ts regarding the Metagloves? Anything that we should watch out for? For example, with the calibration, it's advised not to put your hand flat on a metallic surface to prevent any disruptions, for example. So the question from Kit, you mean we can use 6 pairs of gloves with 6 suits on one comp system? As Steven mentioned, with Xsens, it's possible to do 4 at the max.
Yeah, I think also looking at the time.
Also answered by Steven.
Yeah, I think it's nice to see also people already answering the questions for us. So
Yes.
very good. I think looking at the time, well, I think we'll wrap it up for now.
Yes.
But as mentioned, if you still have any questions, well, of course, ask us later on support, yes. Or if it's sales related, sales@movella.com. Thank you all for watching.
Yes.
And I really hope we see you on the next one.